What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back to the Inside Wisconsin show here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Trevor Thomas, John Anderson. I see you're still in my basement. Good to see you again. Appreciate that.
Yep. But the Uber Eats bill is out of control. You know, like the fact that I can't come up to the table at dinner time is a little, feels a little insulting, but that's fine. I understand. I'm the troll living in your basement, and that's okay. You know.
So I can't move around very well right now. I want your take on this before we jump in
Why
with our
is that?
guests. Because I blew out my Achilles.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Forgot. Okay.
Hopefully nobody's playing a drinking game, because every time we talk about that, you have to take a shot, right?
Your Achilles is the new Joe Thomas.
Okay.
Right? It's the new thing that I can now pound on you instead of Joe Thomas. The Achilles is your Achilles.
Wow.
Like, what is it? Orange is the new black, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
94 episodes.
Joe Thomas.
Finally moving on from the Joe Thomas thing. I ordered Uber Eats the other day. Sorry, I didn't let you know. I ordered pints of ice cream from Culver's. That is not a smart financial decision to order the amount of fees in Uber Eats. Just go to Festival Foods. What are we doing? We are out of ice cream.
What do you mean go to Festival? Why don't you just go to Culver's?
Because it was family movie night and we didn't have ice cream. And I was like, you know what? I'll save the day. I'll have Uber Eats, grab some frozen
Hope
custard.
It doesn't melt in the car. That's a bad thing to order, but okay, I'm with you.
4 pints got delivered to our door.
Yeah. No, that part's not what I'm arguing. I'm arguing if you're going to go get it, and I appreciate Festival Foods for all they do, but why wouldn't you just go to Culver's?
Because I was trying to surprise the family and have ice cream delivered for Inside Out 2 on Disney Plus.
That's not the point I was making, but okay.
$43 later.
I should have just gone to Festival Foods.
Yeah, well, I should have just went to Culver's. My point is, careful with the Uber Eats. It's not a great financial decision. What is a good financial decision is being a long snapper in the NFL. Turns out that's
the job, yeah.
Going to be good. There's 32 of them available. We have one here in Green Bay now. Don't know his name, but we did know the guy that came before him. His name is Brett Goode.
Right.
Goode, pronounced Goode. He's the guest. He's got a ring. Let's jump in with it. I am no long snapper. You maybe are. Let's learn from the best. Brett Goode on the Inside Wisconsin show.
The Inside Wisconsin show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. All right, food talk time. Legit Pizza. Pep's Legit Pizza. So I reached out to these guys. I'm a huge male. I'm a big mammal. Okay. I love frozen pizza. And I make it on the Traeger. Legit Pizza. Pep's Legit Pizza. Did you know that the number one day to eat pizza at home is Halloween?
I did not. Ed, I did not know that. Didn't know it.
Yeah, you so head to a Festival Foods or wherever you pick up pizzas and look for Legit. It comes in this sweet box. These are good pizzas. We would not be talking about food on the Inside Wisconsin show if I didn't think it was the best. Legit Pizza is the best. So for Halloween this year, head to your local supermarket. Hopefully it's a Festival Foods and try to find Legit. This is Legit Pizza. Pep's Legit Pizza.
I was practically raised on frozen pizza. You probably did not know that.
I did not know that.
No, my sister marched in a drill team. There's a place called the Northern Step Drill Team. It was all girls, and that's what they did. They marched, Flag Corps marched, doing parades and all these other things. It used to be a competition. They used to do it down at the Armory, and their big fundraiser was to make pizzas, frozen pizzas. Huh. And so they'd take a weekend, and I can still see where the place is. I don't know what it was called, but it was over there right on the corner of the Taco Bell on Mason and behind where the Sears in that mall was. Anyway, so they'd make them, and then we'd order dozens of them, and they'd be packed in our freezers. And like my folks on Friday nights are like, "Hey, we're going out to the supper club. You want to come?" I'm like, no, I'm gonna eat a frozen pizza. And so I ate like 9,000 of these pizzas. So if it's there and it's good, I've been in. And only once did I ever get so tired after school that at like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I threw the pizza in and I fell asleep and burned it to a crisp. Only once did I wake up with the house smoking.
We've all done that. If you went to college, you did that.
Yeah, but now here it is. So I'm in. Is it square? It's a square operation.
It's a round pizza, but it's a square box round pizza. Very good. Are you a thin crust guy? This is thin crust.
Yeah, listen, I'm all in on pizza. So much of it depends. I could go through other places that I eat, if I go out. So it doesn't matter. I'm not wild about the Chicago deep dish. I'm with Charlie Barron's. That's cheesy casserole. No, I don't need that. So I don't mind the old little pan pizza here and there, but no, I'm most of that frozen pizza. The thinner crust is way better. Better way to do it. And don't put it on a pizza pan. Put it right on the rack.
Yes, and sometimes put it on your grill or a Traeger. I'm telling you, I love.
This is probably way more than the legit people. Like, hey, how about just buy the pizza, fix it your own way? You don't have to fix it how Anderson.
Fine. Pick up Pep's Legit Pizza near you for an authentic at-home pizza parlor experience, and make sure you do it for Halloween, the #1 pizza day of the year. I would assume number 2 is like March Madness and whatever.
I think for delivery it'd be the Super Bowl. But can you do me one favor though? After you eat that pizza, can you can I have the box? Because I'm still packing.
Sure. That's cute that you think that there's a pizza.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so send that to me. I can probably get a golf shirt in there.
Long gone. You got it. On the way.
That. Thank you.
Special teams seems to be in the news a lot lately, so we went to our local Arkansas specialist, Brett Goode, former Packers long snapper. Brett, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to see y'all.
I feel like we should turn him upside down in the
so
monitor.
We recognize him.
Well, yeah, so we could know or look at him backwards when it comes through. So I don't know why I have been given the privilege of always get to ask the first question. So I just want to know, do you feel like Aaron Rodgers overshadowed your entire career since you guys started on the same Monday night game?
No, and I don't have any problem with the way that went down. That was actually a lot of fun because when I got to Green Bay, obviously I was on a construction crew pouring some concrete before I got up there and got to play on that Monday night. That was also his first start. And there were some nerves. And I just remember, him just being himself. The cameras were all on him because it was his first, official home start in the Aaron Rodgers era. And he just kind of pulled me over in front of the cameras and smiled. And so it relieved a lot of, anxiety, I guess, before the game. You always have the nerves before every game because I think that's the fun part of it. But it just kind of shows who he was and just, made you relax and realize that it's just another game.
I don't know. I feel like if you'd have started, the week after or something, it would have been a whole different level of notoriety, and that maybe he sucked that away from you. You touched on it a little bit. How does a guy get from undrafted in Jacksonville to a 10-year career in Green Bay? And I get this is only an hour, so we might need a little of the Reader's Digest version there.
It was one of those things after I got cut the second time by Jacksonville, you kind of get down. You don't know which direction you're going to go. I didn't go to training camp in 2007 after, anywhere after that in Jacksonville. I did a couple of tryouts, and then in 2008, I got cut after mini camp. And so I didn't even go to training camp in 2008. And so you kind of get down a little bit and you don't really know what's going to happen. But I just told myself if I got the opportunity, I wanted to make sure that I was ready. And so that was my motivation, to make sure I stayed working out. Make sure that I was ready to go. And when I got the call, it just felt natural. I didn't panic. I didn't do anything different. I remember when Mike Stock was the special teams coach there at the time. And when I got there and he just, we got up there and he was just like, just relax, just be yourself. And, it was very interesting. I remember making, this is how far the game has come. I actually made him a VHS tape in 2007 when I was coming out of college. That's what he required. So being able to do that and kind of transition. And so I had a little bit of relationship with him just off of sending that video and a few talks beforehand. But it was, you get fortunate that unfortunately this game, it's 100% injury rate. And so a lot of people lose their job to age and injury. And I was one of those statistics that was able to get in there. And then that was also kind of one of the ways, my way out the door too.
What's up with specialists delivering pizza and pouring concrete and anything else other than playing football when you guys get found? That happens today still.
Well, you got to be a hard worker. You got to work. Even today, I got 2 jobs now, and you just can't quit. And that's you got to find something that kind of eases your mind, I guess. But you also got to make ends meet, and so you got truck payments and rent and everything. It comes due, and I didn't want to be kicked out on the street, so. Definitely went to work, and there's a lot of guys. And I think as a specialist, especially, the game's changed a lot, and some guys are getting in, coming out of going into college, there wasn't scholarships for especially long snappers. Now they're, all three positions are kind of getting a scholarship. Now they get some NIL money. None of that was there whenever we were around. So you had to work. You had to go to work. And I think that's one of the things that also helped me in the game, because the studying in the classroom and the studying on the film, and you just learn from everybody. And I think that helped me out throughout my career.
But at some point, right, you need to, there's a chance you got to move on with your life. And the reason I say that is because if you're staying in shape and ready to go, like, I don't know that carrying 265 on your frame how long are you going to do that when you go, okay, this isn't an unnatural weight. I'm not sure it's healthy. And if I'm going to get on with this, I won't go back to being the person I think I need to be. So how is it you make that decision that I'm going to keep ready and kind of keep there? Or maybe I've decided now that, concrete's not terrible.
Well, concrete was terrible. That would not be what I wanted to do. So I was enrolled into school to finish my degree, because when I went to Jacksonville, that was in March when we used to report, and so I left school early because the opportunity came, and so I wasn't going to not go, and so I was enrolled in school back there in 2008 and fixing to start classes. And I had a hard time putting on weight. When I got through at Arkansas, I was about 235 maybe. And everybody said that you had to gain weight. Of course, that was back when you could line up with a snapper and just run them over. And so I struggled to put on some weight over those 2 years. And once I got it up there, I didn't have to stay very long. It was kind of a struggle for me to keep the weight on until about 3 years after that. And then it was a struggle to keep the weight off. I guess you get used to it. But it's a mindset. You have to be ready, because I think if you look right now, the snappers, kicker, like, people struggle, and there's opportunities that come up. I know even the Chicago snapper got hurt over there, across the seas, and it's going to happen. You're going to have injuries, and so you got to be ready, because you just don't know when that opportunity is going to come up. And I think I would have probably tried to stay ready for about 5 years, just to give it a shot, because it's a lifelong dream. And if you get to play one game, I mean, how magical is that? Just to even get on the field one time, with only 32 teams and 32 positions, it's quite a dream.
You touched on this. You said now there is room for all the specialists involved. It used to be if the kick was missed, we just blame the kicker, which is, by the way, what I totally do. I'm old school. But now, because we have slow motion replay, right, we look at the whole process. And so sometimes the kick isn't great. And we go, oh, look, the hold wasn't great, or that snap skidded back. And so, like, now they share the blame, which if I were you, I don't know if you like that. I hate it. It's all just, to me, it's all the kicker. He needs to overcome this. I'm ready to shelve anybody who misses one. You guys get a free pass. But it is a little different how we look at that whole process now, don't you think?
It is. One of the big things that I had to make adjustments when the film got HD, because you could start seeing, like, little things that you did with your hands. And we used to try and get the guys off sides. But once the HD camera came out on tape, then they started getting, they would always turn it into the officials and say, well, look what this guy's doing. And that it wasn't as much fun sometimes, because you couldn't get away with certain things. But it has changed the game. It's been a great process for the game that now everybody can kind of see slow motion. I think people still think how easy it is when you're doing these things under 1.3 seconds on a field goal. And generally they don't realize that if you're at that 1.3, it's got a good chance of getting blocked. And it's those little bitty things that, you've got to have a good snap. You want good laces, good hold. And we've already seen some kicks miss this year, some drop snaps, but we're also seeing longer field goals than ever. And I think that's how close the NFL is compared to college. I mean, you very rarely have these college games always coming down to one possession, and a lot of these NFL games are like that week in and week out, and I think that's what makes it special.
So is it the kicker's fault or not? Because I could really use some ammo here.
So I don't think you would ever want to blame a kick. So you got to – after the game, I'm going to go drink beer and hang out, and it's a mental game, and that's where I think a lot of specialists, a lot of players, it's not just specialists, they struggle with that middle aspect of it. If you read the good publicity, you got to read the bad, and you're going to see a lot of things that come through, and that can get in your head if you let it. You got to just basically not care. I tell kids all the time, they even come up and where they're talking about their coach does this or their coach does that on snapping. I'm like, look, you're in this position because you're where you're supposed to be. You've earned that right. You got to listen to your coaches. You got to have respect. But at the end of the day, you can't overthink the process. You got to trust your training. And if you didn't train properly, then that's going to screw you up, and that's your own fault anyway. So it's definitely a process for all three. When you're talking about a field goal operation, it is definitely snap, hold, and kick, and there's a lot that can go wrong, and then there's a lot that you got to have trust too. I think one of the things that as I was going through my career, even with Mason, he knew if my snap was a little high or a little off, my laces were still going to be good. And so, you're not really considering, oh, we got to slow down something else. He could just stay with that kick and go through the process for himself. And so that takes time. That takes a lot of work going through that process with people. But at the end of the day, it's just, it's snapping and kicking.
I have a really good friend who always says the two most unpredictable things on campus are college kickers and college girlfriends. And I don't know that is incorrect.
Good point.
Compare that. You're trying to get a job. Give me tryout to get an NFL job pressure as opposed to like Super Bowl pressure.
So, when you go to these tryouts, it's you pack a bag. I mean, you're taking a pair of clothes that you're traveling with. They give you something to put on to work out. You got your cleats, and it's in and out. You go through and go through whatever. Some of them, they wanted you to run a 40 and do agility. Some of them it was just snapping. And when I got to Green Bay to work out for them, we the season was coming around the corner, and so it was me and two other guys, and it was just we snapped and ran down the field, and it was trying to simulate going into coverage. You couldn't have the team out there, so I was trying to get it as special as possible in that. I think one thing that helped me with my transition to the NFL is when I was at Arkansas, we actually did pro punt. Now everybody does this spread punt where nobody really has to block, but I was always required to block in college, and that was an easy transition to go to the NFL to be able to block there too. And it was just a comfort level. It was something that I still to this day feel comfortable with. And every now and then I'll throw some balls to some friends, especially at night, after a few cocktails, you can get out there and have some fun with it. So, it's just you do it over and over. And one thing I always said is when I snap for punts, the punter's not moving. When I snap for field goals, the holder's not moving. So I'm not hitting a moving target. I'm just aiming at a still target. You have to deal with weather and wind and things of that nature. But, it's just a comfort level of doing it over and over and over and practicing the right way while you're doing that.
You have to deal with weather and wind, which is different in Jacksonville than it is in Green Bay. So an Arkansas boy came to northern Wisconsin. How was that when you arrived?
When I first got there, it was fun because, I left that construction crew. It was 98 degrees in Arkansas, pouring a driveway. And I get up there and they told me to, make sure I drink water. It's real humid there. And I looked at the temperature and I knew I'd be okay. And as the weather changed, you get to practice in it. That's one thing that helps is being able to practice in those conditions because we got every condition in Green Bay, as you can imagine. I got to the point where if it was kind of like a drizzle and only half the panel was wet, I'd actually roll the whole ball in the water. And I didn't care if the punter liked it or the holder. Sometimes it made him mad because, I would just sling a bunch of water back there. But I wanted the ball to be consistent. And I felt like for all of us, that was the best thing, to do because you're going to just have a consistent ball. And those K balls are different. You practice on one day and you kind of have some worn out balls during a week, because we just reuse the balls. And kickers and punters, they always want those really broken in balls. But by the time you get to a K ball in the game and they only have 45 minutes to break them in, you're really only working in the first number 1 and number 3, maybe number 4, unless you get to the Super Bowl. Then you have 12 footballs there that you have to deal with. But those are predetermined. The numbers predetermined from, as they come in packaged. So it'll say K1 on there. It's not like that we get to go through the balls and figure out which one we like the best. So, really it's trying to roll it around in the ball or in the snow. I hated sometimes you get like some slush on one side and the other, and I do the same thing, just kind of roll it around because your hands are going to be frozen anyway. You might as well just make it feel the same all the way around.
Okay, so now I've got things flying in my head all the time because you're like they're just out of the box, and I live here in New England temporarily for a while. Actually, I'm in Trevor's basement, but that's television magic. So because Tom Brady may or may not have screwed with some footballs during a playoff game. How good are you? Like, if I gave you one, could you tell me if it's inflated, underinflated? Can you, like, you must be able to tell that stuff
Pretty
instantly.
quick, yes.
Did the kicker like it one way? I know they come out of the box, but I don't believe that either. I understand that where you got.
No, they were pretty strict on that, on the K balls.
Okay.
I mean, we had we had one guy that we could send from the equipment room, and the other team had one guy they could send, and we would tell them tricks that we would do, we went in there, and I mean, these balls are brand new. The quarterbacks get their balls on Wednesday. They start getting to break in the footballs on Wednesday, and ours are coming out game day, and so we're like rubbing the balls. You have a brush. You try to get a little bit of moisture on there if they'll let you. And then when you come to the playoffs, that's the difference of K balls, is they're actually protected by the referees. So they have an official that's actually walking around with those, and they don't even want you putting them by the heater. So you can definitely tell when you get to the playoffs in a cold game, those balls get a little bit harder, a little bit more frozen than they do during the regular season. And it's just something you have to deal with, and it's both sides. I mean, there's a reason that you don't see a whole lot of punters going to the Pro Bowl from our conference up there, because it's tough. And it's tough to kick in those conditions. There's so many different factors that go through. It's not just kicking. You have to directionally punt. I mean, even you look at all these games and how much the wind affects the football, and people, they talk about quarterbacks not being able to throw it or a quarterback's arm strength, and they don't ever talk about a punter's leg strength and being able to fight the ball through the wind. And when they drop it, just a little bit of a turn can really adjust that ball flight. And for us, it was they were pretty consistent throughout my career. The only ones that you could tell, well, I guess like when we went to the Super Bowl, the number one ball, the K1 ball, they said that one's immediately going, they're going to kick off with it, and then we're pulling it. And so we don't really break it in that much, because there's not, you don't want to spend the time to break in a football that you're not going to be able to use. That was the same way, a rainy game, you kind of just hit them all. But for the most part, the kickers, they play through, K1 through K4 typically.
So like we've established, it's hard to get the job, right? It's a unique skill. And then there's not a lot of jobs. And yet I feel like if you find somebody who cleans your house really well, or a mechanic that you trust, like once you get that job, it feels like the job security is amazing in this thing. Once you got there, how'd you end up staying for a decade?
Keep your head down and go to work. That's the way with everybody. And if you look across the board, the running backs, they typically, the career's shorter for a running back, but the guys that on every team, you don't have everybody making all this money. I think I signed 7 contracts in 10 years or something like that. And it's just, you have to go to work. You have to prove yourself week in and week out, but you're not reinventing the wheel. I'm not learning how to snap all over again each year. I'm learning how to, as your body gets older, I'm learning how to do things a smarter way, and ways to get by with certain things when you're blocking it, and things that you can do to make yourself better on the field. That somebody, for me, I was happy that college actually switched away from a pro punt style, because every snapper came in there, they didn't know how to block. They didn't know how to kick step. You can still look there across the league. These snappers, they don't have to block near as well as what we used to have to do. They get a lot more help, and there's a lot less responsibility on them, because they, especially the young ones, they struggle with that. They struggle with that training because they didn't have to do it in college. And the ones that do have to do it in college, they don't. It's maybe blocking backside, but it's not a full on. Where if you don't get this guy, he's going to go block the punt. They would just line up and run gaps a lot of times, and that's an easy rush. But to block, but everybody's got to be on it. And so I learned a lot throughout my career. Watched older snappers, going through there. Obviously had Rob Davis that I could pick at his ear a lot, and he was super helpful throughout my career. Still talk to Rob, love him to death. And being able to do that and learn from others and learn from your mistakes, because you have mistakes, and luckily for me, it was in practice. And that's where you get a lot of that out there, and in the game it just flew by because you were ready to go.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. More with Brett Goode. In the break, I'm going to ask what a K-ball is so I don't look like an idiot on camera. Back in a second, the Inside Wisconsin Show. Don't answer that.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. Did you get the house that gave you ramen noodles for Halloween? Did you get an apple or an orange? Did you ever see one of these houses?
Okay, well, first off, none of those things are alike. I get the fruit. The apple's okay, but then, of course, everybody, we were convinced every parent there were razor blades in it. Duh. Not so. I didn't mind the apple. That was fine. No one gave away ramen noodles. That's not a thing. You're just making that up. That's like the people that claim the old lady gave them pennies. That's not true either.
But would you take it? So we're talking about Halloween and the different.
And by the way, no one would go. The first 3 kids that went to the house would alert the next 3 kids coming up the driveway, and that word would spread like wildfire. And nobody would go. Right? Don't you think? Just like like the person that was giving a full candy bar. If there was a neighborhood, who knows? But you'd know exactly where that was, and zoom, there you went.
Fair. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, yeah. The ramen people are out.
Yeah, well, our youngest son, Riker, would be in. He loves ramen noodles to a fault. We try not to buy him anymore. He knows how to make them himself.
Listen, they're good. I'm not saying I wouldn't eat that. I went to college. I'm just saying I wouldn't give it out as a trick or treat thing. Come on.
Okay, fair. Well, in case you do, Fest Foods has it and everything else that you would need for Halloween. Head to festfoods.com, do a little scoping out on what you're going to give. And if you're going to lay out a bucket, okay, put good candy in the bucket. I like handing the candy.
Right.
But if you're going to go and do that and leave it, first off, put up a camera so that one jerk kid doesn't and dump the whole thing in there. But put good candy in there. Get the good stuff at Festival Foods. Are you what are those little things for Halloween? They're triangles. I don't know what they're called, and you're gonna eat me alive for this.
Candy
you know what I'm talking
corn?
about? Yeah, that's it. I do it. Yeah, sorry. You a candy corn guy?
Yes.
You like? Yeah, you're disappearing. Festival Foods, all your holiday needs and all of your Halloween needs. They have candy corn. You really don't like candy corn that much, huh?
No, I do. I just can't believe that I'm shrinking because you can't remember candy corn.
Forgot the name. I'm all Snickers and 100 grand and Baby Ruth in my brain. Not candy corn.
I do feel like, though, that you could go to Festival Foods and get like just an industrial size bag.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes you get a little one and it's got, 20 pieces. I feel like they come like in 1,000 count bag for that. I will tell you, here's the Halloween joke I bust on people on occasion, and I feel like it's appropriate here. If I ate dumb suckers the rest of my life and you ate Smarties, I'm still not sure we'd level the playing field.
Jeez. I got nothing. Whatever I say at this point is going to be dumb.
Thanks, Festival Foods.
I have a big heart. I've always wanted to help people, and in the insurance industry, you are helping people. You're helping them protect their dreams, protect their passions, and making sure that if something does happen, if the inevitable happens, that they can be restored to where they were before the loss. I was born and raised in Wisconsin. This is my home. I have spent the last 20 years here in Dane County, and supporting this community is important to me. So whatever we can do to show our value to the community, give back to the community, we definitely want to do that in our agency as well. Breast cancer touches so many lives. Everyone has someone that has been touched by breast cancer, whether it's a family member, a friend, a colleague, and it just feels good supporting a cause that touches so many. Last year, we started the Boo Walk, and this started out as a passion for one of our teammates who was a breast cancer survivor. And it started out because of one teammate, but it also is going to keep going because of our passion to help the community, and we've found something that means something to us. Last year's walk, we had people that signed up that weren't even our clients. We had friends, family members, clients, the public, but it was really touching when someone showed up at our walk, didn't sign up ahead of time, and just signed up on the day of, and they were a survivor and they wanted to be part of something. And they just showed their appreciation that we even did this. So making those impacts to people that are touched by breast cancer, it really feels good to be supporting a cause such as breast cancer awareness.
Time for another top 5 list on the Inside Wisconsin show. As always, presented by the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, which, by the way, offers an online master's degree at UW-Platteville. You can put you on the path for personal and professional success. Time to boost up that resume and your earning potential with an online master's degree in engineering, criminal justice, or business. Learn more and apply today. UW-Platteville, a smart investment. Ah, sweet, man. You can get masters online now. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, top 5 list time. It is Halloween season, and I'm curious to know how you agree with my top 5 list of the top 5 candies that you can get in your Halloween basket.
Okay, so let's see. First off, I'm going to steal this from Boomer. Yay, let me be the first to wish you a happy Halloween. He used to always, that's his always thing. Whenever the calendar turns and the holiday comes, let me be the first. And then Halloween, he's always gives you the, watch out for the little ghosts and goblins. They're not looking for you. But he'll do it like October 3rd, boom, whenever the first is. And one of the funniest things that ever happened is they were doing the show on, he's still doing kind of on November 1st or 2nd, whatever it was. And they pop in and Chris is introducing everybody. And Chris Carter jumps and goes, boom, let me be the first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And it was such an inside joke that the entire place, the building shook with laughter. Don't know that America got it. But anyway, so yay, let me be the first to wish everybody a happy Halloween.
That's awesome. All right.
So
top
this
5
is
candy.
candy that you want in your, like, isn't it Reese's Cups and then nobody else cares, whatever it is?
No, not even on my list. This is going to go great. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Number 5, Snickers. If you're going to get a full-size candy bar and you're going to hand those out.
Wait, who's giving you a full-size candy bar? Don't you have like the little snack shop?
You can, but apparently with so full-size candy bar neighborhoods get kids dropped off from other neighborhoods. And so you got to watch for the kids that you know, and you got to stash some full-size candy bars and give them to the kids you know, and everybody else gets the little ones.
What is a full-size candy bar neighborhood?
Let's talk about that there are neighborhoods that like where Packers live.
So where you live, you're required to give a full candy bar? Is that like in the covenants?
No.
Is that like on the Zillow when you look? It's like, here it is, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and full-size candy bars at Halloween?
I don't know how to PC describe a full-size candy bar neighborhood. I'm not saying we moved into one. I'm simply saying that they exist. And if you have kids, look at me. If you have kids and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, every once in a while you knew the house that gave. I just didn't know there were neighborhoods. I thought there was just the isolated, really good guy.
No, there's neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods.
Wow. Okay.
All right, number 5, Snickers.
They're bussing people in.
They do. They get dropped off in these neighborhoods. It's hard to, I know. They don't bus people in, but yeah.
All right. So I've lost. So full-size Snicker. Okay. So you want a Snickers bar. Great.
Snickers. That's number 5.
Not a Milky Way dark, but that's fine. And Snickers, eat the Snickers almond. That's even better.
Ooh, I didn't know that was a thing. All right. I'll look that up. Number 4 on my list, Baby Ruth. Which you can have a lot of fun.
Candy bar, which came first? Candy bar or the baseball player?
The baseball player was named after him.
I think the candy bar was first.
Oh, come on. Why would they name it Baby? Okay, I'm going to look that up. I'll text you about that later. 5 Snickers, 4 Baby Ruth, 3 $100,000. You a $100,000 fan?
I think they used to be the it used to be the $100,000 bar. Now it's just $100,000.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not big with the Rice Krispies in it.
Oh,
take it or leave it.
Something different. You mentioned
milk. We still haven't gotten to the Reese's Cup.
It's not on here.
And so then my guess is the Charleston Chew and the old Marathon candy bar is way out.
Oh, that's random. I was thinking about giving an honorable mention to Charleston Chew, but it didn't make my list. Here are my top 2, and I want you to understand that these are very different candy bars. They sound the same. They're very different. Number 2 is Mounds. Number 2 is Mounds, and number 1 is Almond Joy.
Well, yeah. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Haven't you seen a commercial?
Yeah, because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't.
I'm just not sure that many kids are going, cool, coconut.
Oh, I am. You mentioned Heath, by the way. That is my go-to. Like, remember we said Bob Euchre's the bucket, right? Heath is the bucket. It doesn't make my top 5 list because I take the Heath bars away from my kids. Like, that is a given. I get the Heath bars. These are my top 5, and Mounds and Almond Joy.
The Heath bar is versatile. Like, we can just chop it up and throw it in anything, ice cream, and mix it in. So the Butterfinger doesn't, because so Reese's peanut butter cup should be in there. You need a Reese's cups. If you're going full size, that way you get at least the double. You got to have a Butterfinger. You should have a Milky Way Dark.
Yeah.
Regular Milky Way, no, but Milky Way Dark, fantastic. It might have changed the entire candy industry. Then you need what did I say? You should have a Heath bar in there and the Snickers with almond.
Okay. Very different top 5 list.
So as the kids say, there, I fixed it for you.
We're back, the Inside Wisconsin show. Trevor John and long snapper extraordinaire, now retired and plays with mosquitoes. We'll cover that. That's Brett Goode. All right, Brett. So I happen to find that your groomsman kind of was the flock of K-ball people keepers. It was Crosby, Mass Day, and then the guy that actually made you do your job, Rogers. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that, because you guys clearly stick together, and I'm sure you're in contact with all those guys yet today.
Yeah, it's just a relationship, and I had a lot of guys that came to the wedding as well. We did that on the bye week. Everybody flew in a day extra to do that, and it was a lot of fun. It was just kind of thrown together. My wife, she planned the wedding in 26 days, and it was just a lot of fun, because it was just like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's go ahead and get married, and to have your close friends that you built a relationship. Won a Super Bowl with those guys, and we played cards all the time. And it's just there's a lifelong bond that's always there. And it's, being guys, we can go time without talking. We can go months without talking. And then as soon as you get back together, everything just kind of flows pretty seamlessly. And so I was very fortunate to have those guys at my wedding, be able to be there for that moment. And, obviously talk to them, not as much as I wish I could right now, because, I have a job and multiple jobs and kids we're chasing around, and they do too. And so life comes at you, and if you're not living in the same city, it's some time to get together and have a beer.
When you met your wife and she said, "What do you do for a living?" What'd you tell her?
She knew, but she wasn't. She actually, like a lot of people, they don't know what to expect, because they see a lot of hate that's out there on TV. That's professional athletes or this, that, or the other. And so it took a little warming her up, and once she got to know who I was and kind of my personality, then things kind of moved in a progressive manner faster.
What's amazing is, and it's great that you knew what you did, because it's an anonymous job that is best left anonymous.
Yes,
right. Like ideally, if people said, "Who was that guy in the Super Bowl?" 61. It seems like that would be the. Did you ever crave for some notoriety in this thing?
No, I got it in Green Bay. That's what's nice about Green Bay. And I think the professional game, college game, I did screw up one time in college. My whole career, I screwed up, threw it over the guy's head against the Longhorns my sophomore year at the Razorback Stadium. I still remember, left hash about right around the 22-yard line. It was a great snap, perfect spiral, threw it over the punter's head, couldn't jump and get it. And it was, it was pretty to look at, but you don't want that notoriety, and a lot of players don't. But you want. In growing up in the media and everybody else, in Green Bay, you're fortunate that you go to the grocery store and people know who you are, and you get a lot of respect for that. You get the notoriety comes from doing your job, and I think that's the most special thing is you go out there and perform, you're going to get noticed, and it's not getting noticed for the bad things. You're getting noticed for the good things. And that happens. Still in this game, everybody still wants those good stories to come out. They want to see how, this guy caught a break, or this person, did this, that, or the other. And I think that I was always able to get exactly what I wanted in Green Bay. And throughout my NFL career, I can't imagine having the notoriety that some of the other players have, because I can still go to the grocery store. I can still do certain things the other guys couldn't do. And that was also fun that I could go also sneak off to the bar. I can go to Fish Fry Friday up there in Wisconsin. So that was a lot of fun too.
I always tell people when the Packers get recognized, like in the grocery store, most other places, they're fanboys. In Wisconsin, they want to make sure you're eating right. Like, it's just a whole different kind of fan when they come through there. So you talked about the one you missed in Texas. And listen, because of this and my kids there, I listen to the Hog Pod on occasionally. Who was the coach in Green Bay that told you during practice that's your one?
That was Coach Slocum.
Okay.
Sean Slocum, and I had a snap that went array up there, and he goes, "That's your one." So, and you get it. I mean, you've got to be, everything's got to be on point. You've got to be, you've got to be ready to go. The snap's got to be. It's not just about the speed of the snap; it's about the accuracy too, and the making it easy for the punter to catch it and be able to get into his rhythm and being able to block and kind of taking command of all that. And honestly, he didn't have to tell me that. I knew it. And when you play on a competitive football team, I tell you this, you look at all the competitive football teams out there in the NFL, the specialists are better than the ones on the non-competitive teams, because the non-competitive teams have so much other problems, general manager, quarterback situations, other players, they can't win, but you need to have some stableness in the special teams unit that you can kind of rely on those guys. And so that was one thing that, I love being a competitor. I love everything about that. And I still, to this day, I want to compete in whatever we're doing. If you're not competing, there's no reason to try to do it.
According to the pictures, when you played for the Packers, you love fashion too. You had a lot going on. Like, there was one moment where you're buzzed head and a goatee, and the next minute you look like you're on the undercover drug task force with the yellow beard and this. So, but you blended in, is what I hear you saying, here in Wisconsin. So tell us about that. Tell us what it was like to live in Wisconsin as an NFL player.
I love Wisconsin. I'd move back in a heartbeat. I became a man in Wisconsin. I was an adult, obviously, when I got there by the legal terms, but I grew up. And still to this day, I absolutely love the area. I love Green Bay. Our marriage was in Lake Geneva. So we used to travel around, play softball around the state. I truly love the state of Wisconsin, and I would move back in a heartbeat there because it means that much to me. I think the reason is the people are so genuine. It doesn't matter where you go, everybody's friendly, everybody's nice, and it wasn't because you're a Packer. It's because people are just nice. I mean, you walk out of training camp back in the day, and we could, obviously we rode bikes and everything else from the Lombardi days, but you could also go by and get a beer from somebody in a chicken wing or a brat or something else like that. And it's, and I've talked to people here locally that they went to a Green Bay game and they had no ties to Wisconsin, but they would show up and they weren't really dressed for the weather. And they would tell me about the fans just giving them a jacket or giving them some gloves, helping them out. And I think that's the true nature of why Green Bay is so special. And you look at all the tours that come through there all the time. It's a well-run organization, well-run state and city. And I even love going out on the farms on the Saturday mornings to the breakfasts and getting to see different things. And it's just, I miss it. I miss Wisconsin, and I try to pay attention to it as much as possible.
Did you ever blow out your Achilles playing softball when you're out there?
No, I only did that playing football. Yeah. Well, not my Achilles. No, that was my ACL. No, sorry. I guess I didn't jump.
You have no hope.
I didn't push off fast enough for my Achilles, I guess.
Oh, Trev, hear that, John? He just called me fast. He just said he didn't push off fast.
Yeah. That or you didn't stretch. Did you hurt your Achilles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Don't even ask. This is a disaster. This is a disaster.
Are you on the Aaron Rodgers program, or are you on the the traditional program?
I'm on the traditional program. Me and Aaron don't have the same doctor, although we were supposed to have the same doctor. And then Aaron bailed on him in the last minute. We'll cut that out of the show.
Yeah. So there you go. So there's that. Because I'm the only person you'll ever meet from Wisconsin who's mean as a snake, and I don't mind it. So you know who else is really mean though? NFL players. And you said they changed the rules some. Tell me, because you could get mauled. Tell me a great story about getting mauled.
Well, it happened all the time. That's the thing about field goal. I mean, if you go back and look at the tape, I still try and say this today, is these guys have it so much easier because I was literally told to snap it and grab grass. I mean, you're trying to hold on as long as you can. they would line up anywhere from 600 to 800, 900 pounds and try and run right over the snapper. And I think they changed the rule. Is either after my 7th or 8th year, they changed the rule. We had, some snappers go down with some neck injuries and things of that nature, and it became unsafe. But I've got film where my neck's getting beat all around the area, and you're just going down to the ground, and it's hold on. And I remember all the defensive linemen, they would love coming in there to watch film, and they would just laugh at me, and they because your body, you can't control it. You've got everybody just running you over, and they would just laugh at you. And they try and get in your head, and you're going to take a shot, and you just got to get the snap and do your job, and then just hold on.
Back to the ACL thing. How'd you blow out your ACL? Was that taking on 900 pounds?
No, that was running non-contact. It was in Oakland. It was 2015. That was actually the last stadium that I needed to go to hit all 32 stadiums from when I started. So it was pretty cool. So I did that in the first quarter at Oakland. The returner took off to my right, and I planted, and it just gave way, and I just limped over there, and I took a few Advil and wouldn't let them look at my knee and said it was okay, and then finished the game. And I was in a lot of pain, didn't really know what to do, and it got to the point where the next day I just had to go into the training room and let them know that my knee was hurting, and that's when we found out that I tore my ACL. So it was kind of hurtful, but it was it was a contract year, 2 games left to go in the season, so it's a little frustrating when stuff like that happens, but it's just part of the game.
Listen, it's still a good run, Shug.
It is.
Years, there's a pension with 10 years in the NFL and all those other things that when you get there. Now, thank goodness you got another couple of decades before you come in there. But I feel like, Trevor, maybe I've buried the lead here because I just want to know, how's a kid become a long snapper? Because we all want to be the quarterback, or we all want to, be a pass catcher, a diva. Mm-hmm. And that's a yeoman's job. And like I said, it's as hard to get that job as it is to be a starter at quarterback.
It is, and it's tough. And I see all these kids, even Little League today. Everybody wants to be the quarterback, like you said. Everybody wants to. They see these guys on TV, and if they would practice, even being like trying to be like a Bosa or a Watt and be defensive. Somebody like you can go down to linebackers, people that want to hit. And right now my son, he wants to be like outside linebacker or cornerback. I'm like, go for it. It's whatever you want to do. And for me, I played linebacker, I played running back, I was offensive line, and when it got to the point of my 8th grade year, I wasn't big enough, like size-wise, to play in the 9th grade team and play up. And they're like, well, we need a snapper. I was like, well, I'll do it. And nobody else wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I just started working on that. And then once I was, kind of took it off, I like to perfect things. And I like to do it, over and over and over until I get good at it. And that's what I did. And I had a couple of coaches that helped me along the way and told me some right technique to help me through my career, and I just practiced it. And then I went over and over. We didn't have the nets or anything that they have now, so I threw it a goalpost. Something just a still image, and just did it over in more ways than not. And I would lay on the ground, just similar to like shooting a basketball. Where you can lay in bed and do that. I'd do that with a football, and I'd snap it over my head, and really just trying to perfect the spiral and try to take advantage of every little small detail of it that I could make myself better in every way. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do that.
I watched Michael Jordan famously, remember he goes to the line, he looked at Dikembe Mutombo, whoever it was, and he shot a free throw with his eyes closed.
Yep.
I feel like you've done enough of those. Like if you had to, you could do it with your eyes closed. I'm not sure I'd recommend it. But how close could you come if I just said, okay, you don't get to look, you just got to fire it? I
didn't do it in an official game because it was a preseason, but I kind of did that when I had my concussion. In 2000, we played the Chiefs. It was 2010 season, and that last preseason game, I actually got knocked out on the first play, and that was before we had all the new protocols and everything for concussion. And I was able to go back out there, and this is all from watching film. Obviously, I didn't remember any of it, but I remember you go out there and you snap it, and I just started running a direct line over to the sideline because I couldn't run a straight line, and immediately started throwing up, and that's when they pulled me off. But I don't remember snapping it. It was a good snap though. I was able to snap blocks. That was good. But there's times, you got to go do it, and it's just over and over, and that's the same thing. I can still do it with my, probably with my eyes closed. When I do snap to some people, if it comes around to it, a field goal, I can still get laces out about 9 out of 10 times right now with no practice. So it's pretty consistent still.
So my oldest son is 14. He has his last game at FVL on the freshman team on Thursday, and he's the center. He's not the long snapper because he's not fast enough, but he's the center, and he touches the ball literally every single down. There's a lot of pressure in that. When you began snapping right around that 8th grade freshman year, you probably weren't perfect, right? You had to practice and figure it out and do those things. But it's the one position that touches the ball every single time. So I'm going to clip this and give it to my son. How do you get over that, right? Because he doesn't want to, Dad, I don't want to be the center anymore. People are on my ass, or I'm not good enough. Or about, I mean, every kid says that about whatever they're doing. But he's good at it. So how do we keep him doing it?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's no perfect game. If you're a perfectionist if you truly look at the elite players, that's the difference of a college kid and an NFL player. Is you realize that even I could have gone out and had a great game, but there's still something I can work on. So you're always going to want to work on something. Again, it's that, you're going to have people in your ear the whole time because they're trying to help you out. The coaches are trying to help you out. People want to help you out. I was the offensive center for my high school team for 2 years. You don't think about it when you're out there. If you prepare the right way and you practice and you do the little things right, when you get out there, you shouldn't think about it. And because everything goes normal, it goes natural. When I was playing, whether it be offensive line in high school or center, for the Razorbacks or for the Packers, I'm looking to who I'm blocking. I'm not even, and then I get everything figured out, and then I figure out what they're trying to rush and game film, watching a lot of things and really seeing what the other team's going to do. You can pick up on a lot of things over the years of what the opponent's going to do, what the special teams coach, his tendencies are going to do, and that goes down the line of every position. And then you're ready to go. You just go out there and I find my aiming point and snap the ball and move on.
The old Cardinals center, when I was out in Arizona working there, Mike Devlin, he's always said, it's the best position going. The game doesn't start unless I say so.
Yeah.
He goes, tell him that. Like, we're all going to sit here until I decide that we're going to play. Yeah. And then that's all. Because the quarterback can bark all he wants, but I get to say when we start.
Yeah, that's great.
When he goes through there. So you play a game, you play for a decade, right? This is a great long NFL career. And now we get done with our NFL career. Dude, you're still a young guy. Like, how do you reacclimate into what it sounds terrible, like into normal society? Because the NFL is a different world.
It is, and it's tough, and it's not easy. I tell you that. The transition, you still struggle from time to time trying to figure out your way and figure out what you want to do because you've played football. So I started playing football when I was like almost 6 years old, just under 6 years old. And then, so I played all the way up until I was 33, 34. And, I think that year after I was done, I still stayed ready in case I got the phone call that somebody needed an emergency snapper or something I could go fill in. And then you kind of knew it was over after that, which I was perfectly content with because, like you said, I got to play 10 years. I was super happy and thrilled to have that honor. And I took a year off, got to spend a lot of time with my kids. My wife would not say it was as much fun for her. The hard part, I tell you, though, and as weird as this sounds, but the hard part is that year off, I'm trying to play golf, and all my friends are working, and so I didn't know who to play with it. So I ended up getting in some groups, but they were all with a bunch of retired folks, and it was a lot of fun. I did insurance for 3 years. Now I have my real estate license that I help out with my wife, and then we started a pest control company. And so it's trying to stay busy. That's my hard thing with all of it is trying to stay as busy as I was. At times I love to work. So like I said, even in college, I had a job. Being a walk-on in college, I had a job. I had a job for that too, so because I had to pay for school, and so I love working. I love being busy. I love doing things. As soon as we finish this, I'm fixing to go power wash somebody's deck that we're fixing to list their home. So there's nothing that I'm above doing. I still go out and pick up my dog's poop in the backyard. I don't care what it is. I love working. I love getting out and doing things, and I still feel like I can do more. And so I'm trying to find other careers too.
Well, I noticed you didn't mention flat work though.
No, I'm not going back to that. I would. Now, let me say, I would if I had to, if it came down to it, but I don't. There's other things I can do now. I don't think the body wants to bend over in my hands and knees, and I don't know if I could get up after a week of doing that.
Yeah, totally understood.
And you're about to be 40, by the way. So if you think your body hurt before, I'm just telling you, it just changes.
I know.
It's coming.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Break time.
Complain. Guy also broke his leg getting off a bar stool. So he's more of a disaster than you'd think, right? This is not age. This is klutziness, really, is what it is.
We're back in a second. Inside Wisconsin. I'm out. We're done.
Bunch of shots and everything else. That'll make you fall off a bar, hurt yourself.
One time, and it was Good Friday. Take a break. We're back to wrap it up. Brett Goode, Inside Wisconsin.
The Inside Wisconsin show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. I'm not so sure I'm happy that you're retired now from the whole Sports Center thing, because I feel like you're going to use your Packer season tickets more often, and that's not good for me.
Yeah, it could be. You know what? I went to the opener, and I'll be there for the 49er game, and I'll probably be there for the Thanksgiving game. So that's 3 of the 6 right there. Yeah, I probably will use them more often.
Okay.
But if I get your seats for family night, probably when they scrimmage and play touch football, that's.
As long as they serve Miller Lite on family night, I'm good, because I know they do it the rest of the home games. I can tell you that much.
And now I feel like I'm in driving distance,
How long will it take you? Yeah, you really are. Is it 8-9 hours? Is that what you said?
It's 600 miles. It used to be literally from my dorm room to my driveway was 600 miles on the head. Not like 600 miles in a tenth. It was 600 miles. And that used to take kind of 10 and 11. And now, last time I made it, just because the speed limits are up from when they were 40 years ago, when I used to make the drive 35, 40 years ago. And last time I made it 8.5. It was fantastic. Loved it.
Well, I'm going to try to bribe you with Miller Lite so that if you do happen to have an open game, I would appreciate. I know that you got family and things, but hey, I mean, maybe the Bears game.
Unfortunately, the Saints game is already gone.
What about the Bears game?
That's the Milwaukee crowd. By the way, so the division is fantastic, and that all of the division opponents are the Milwaukee crowd is a little tough, because we're going to need the A group. We can't have people selling away. Look how many Vikings fans were there. That's neither here nor there. But you can bribe me with Miller Lite for other things other than wolike just for being nice to you.
Yeah, good.
And I'll stop bullying you.
Is that what it would take? Do I just got to buy you Miller Lite? Okay.
No, actually, if I drank about 4 of them, it'd probably get worse.
Great.
But it's good to be home. By the way, just so you know, like even on road games, I'm there. Went to the Missouri game at UMass, 17,000 seat stadium, rising gently above the saplings. It was packed to the gills with 12,000 people. And so like some guy rolls through with a Sam Adams, like, no, out. There's the Miller Lite. There you go.
Good.
We need to work on the East Coast. I don't know what their market share is, and it's a shame that I'm leaving. Otherwise, I realize that we need to. I could be a personal crusader out here for them.
They're losing market share by you leaving, and
they might lose a little market share
when your son comes home too with his buddies and your fridge gets cleaned out. Whoopsies.
We'll see.
Happens. Make your game time taste like Miller time. Taste great and less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/InsideWisconsin, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium light beer. I'd love to crush a Miller Lite in the parking lot of Lambeau Field with Brett Goode. Let's do that.
Okay, listen, I would love to crush a Miller Lite in the parking lot of Lambeau Field with fill in the blank is your story of life, okay? Who are we kidding? That's nice. Good for you, but fill in the blank.
I'm going.
The mayor of Wisconsin, the distributorship that's local. Give me a player. You're in.
I'm in. All right, back to wrap it up. The Inside Wisconsin show. Trevor John and Brett Goode, former Packers long snapper. 2 for me. Then the lightning round. Here's the first one. Have you been back to Lambeau as a fan?
Yes, I've been back a few times. Get to come back and get to tailgate and walk around the boxes. So that's a lot of fun. We're coming back up this year for the Thanksgiving game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be there for that too.
Nice. It'll be fun.
Right.
It'll be a good time. My son was born there, and he had never been to the game, so he's coming. So he's excited.
Oh, fantastic.
Tailgating with Brett Goode on Thanksgiving. I'll check the box. Let's do it. Last one, we asked John Kuhn this. We've asked TJ Lang this. Tell us a story about Super Bowl XLV behind the scenes that none of us know. The floor is yours.
Outside of the game, obviously we know what happened there. It was a lot of fun. Dream come true. I always tell my wife that, I'm glad that we weren't married at the time. And it wasn't like I did anything like super crazy, but it was just like, hey,
Sure.
I remember, anybody stumbling in at 7, I was like 7 o'clock in the morning the next day, no sleep and trying to figure it out. And we had a lot of fun and you just didn't want the night to end because you can't recreate after the victory. So that, even the day after we went to the parades, it was fun. I had a great time in Green Bay, but it wasn't the same as that emotional high that you get from, it's finally over. And we did win the Super Bowl. And so that was fun, getting to go out with family and friends and celebrate with them. Drank too much alcohol, had and had a lot of fun. We went dancing. We went line dancing. I love to go dancing. So we went line dancing and just had a good old time.
Let me follow up on that real quick, Trev, because Trev always asks the story. I always ask this part of it. Like, what's it like when you're standing there and all of a sudden you see all three, there's just zeros on the clock and it hits you that you're a Super Bowl champion?
It doesn't sit in right away. It really doesn't. I mean, because when it happens for me, all the media was rushing the field. They were actually trying, knocking us out of the way because they got to get the stage up and everything else. And you're overfilled with joy, and you don't really truly know what that means for the rest of your life. That you're a Super Bowl champion, that you were a part of something, and so I've met so many people, and just to have the opportunity to you get to play in the NFL. Like the thing about there's 32 jobs as a snapper. You get to do that, and then I got to do it. I got multiple contracts. I got to, play for 10 years. And then on top of all of that, I got to win a Super Bowl. And there's so many people that don't get to win one or even play in the game. And it's so tough. And I think that's why it didn't sit in for a long time. It just because it didn't seem real. Nothing. You're like, this really just happened. And the emotion after the game, you get it. And it's a lot of fun. But when it first happens, you're like, did this really just happen? And you don't know whether it's all the emotions come out. You don't know whether to cheer or to cry. And then, of course, both of them come out. The tears and everything comes out. And it was a lot of fun.
Okay. Now this is, we're just going to rapid fire some lightning round questions at you.
All right.
Some of these are to help expand Trevor's horizons. Okay.
Okay.
First off, Trev, do you know what WPS stands for?
Wisconsin Public Service.
There you go. Tell them, Brett.
Woo pig suey.
There you go. Got to get that. Thank you. Is it harder to snap for a punt or a field goal?
They're both different. Field goals, you're worried more about accuracy than laces, and punt. Again, you got to block and there's a lot of different aspects that can go wrong with the wind and weather. You're snapping 15 yards compared to 8. That field goal snaps a little bit lower. So I'd say they both have their own difficulty.
That's right. You said one, you got to grab grass. The other one, you got to go try to tackle a guy. Did you ever bury a guy? Did you ever just take him out?
Yeah. One of the times when I got a new contract, the year we won the Super Bowl, I got Hester twice. That was special for me.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So being able to tackle him twice, being able to do that in the same season was pretty special.
I don't have the answer to this. I'm hoping you do. You played with one kicker. How many punters?
Oh, let's see here. How much time do you got? Okay, I can go with. We had Harold, Scobin, Mastay. Then we had. So what I have 7.
Okay, I don't know.
I think 6 or 7.
The fact that you had one kicker is amazing, and the fact that kicker's not still there is it's for another day. Where's your Super Bowl ring?
It's put up. I got it put up in a safe that I bring out to go to anything that, events. That's how you get to the Razorback games sometimes, or go to, charity events and things of that nature. I'll bring it out. But your day-to-day wearing a Super Bowl ring is a little tough.
Sure. Do you think it's worth more than your first signing bonus that you got in Jacksonville?
I know it is. My signing bonus in Jacksonville was $5,000. So I know my Super Bowl ring's worth a lot more than that. And realistically, it's priceless.
All right. Let's see. Okay. You like to line dance. You got a favorite pair of boots?
Yes. I went to a Post Malone concert Sunday and I have some Tony Lama lizard skins. I've got a custom pair of crocodile. I've got some snake boots. I've got some ostrich. I've got about 8 different pairs of boots. One of them, I haven't got one with a razorback on the side. So I love my cowboy boots.
Trev, your thoughts?
I'm 7 feet in cowboy boots, so it turns out I don't have any.
What are the chances that Trevor has ever heard of frog gigging or culling chickens?
Probably not good.
Mm-hmm. You ever frog gigged?
I've been with some people that did it. I was in the boat just watching them.
All right. You know what that is, Trevor?
Is it frog bow hunting?
Well, that's got to be a big frog to bow hunt it, but that's how you catch frogs. Frog gigging.
You ever had frog legs?
I have. Yeah, they're good. I know
guys
that
on the plate. You got to go get them.
You got to get them.
I know guys that do that bow hunting. That's why I thought that was it. No. Okay.
So, what's the life expectancy of a mosquito?
Ooh, about 10 to 21 days, depending on if you're a male or female.
There you go. Favorite place to eat fish in Green Bay?
Oh, wow. So every bar, I tell you what, when I got to Green Bay, our perch down here about this big. We get it on the camera. They're about this big, and they go, we're going to a perch fish fry. I'm like, well, I don't want to eat that little bitty fish. Like, we got these things like, no, it's fine. So you go up there and you find out the fish are a lot bigger. So I fell in love with the Fish Fry Friday, and it didn't matter if it was the bar, the bowling alley there in Freedom. I mean, I didn't care. I loved them all.
Very good. Favorite place to fish in Arkansas?
Go up to the White or the Norfolk River. Best trout fishing in the world right there.
There you go. Sassy's or Wright's Barbecue?
I'm going to go with Wright's.
Okay. What number was Atari Bigby?
Ooh, I don't remember. Do I get a, was it 20?
It's 20.
There you go.
Bang. Look at you. This is for Trevor. Nate, can you name the triplets that went to the Final Four with the Hogs with Eddie Sutton?
No.
How about you, Brett?
It's been a long time. I should know that being from here.
Yes, you should.
Man, that's a tough one there. I don't
remember them all. Ronnie Brewer, Marvin Delf, and Sidney Moncrief.
Sidney Moncrief, yeah. I should have done that.
What's it like to play 7 overtimes when you were against Kentucky?
I'm kind of butthurt about that they've changed the rules of college football, because we had the longest college game ever playing against Kentucky. We went to 7 overtimes, and then they changed the rules, and now it's 9 overtimes because they don't even have to do as much as what we did. And that game was a lot of fun. One of the crazy parts about we left Kentucky after that game, and because there's so many horses there, they won't let you put the actual sirens on. You can just run the lights. So we had to stay in the line forever after the game too. So it was a long game, but I tell you, that was a fun game. Kentucky had a great team. They came back, and there's that clip of Jared Lorenzen talking about, you're going to miss a great show, and it was truly a once in a lifetime experience as well.
I don't know if this is different. Favorite college game?
Oh man, it probably would be one of them. Going to Austin and beating Texas, as much as Arkansas hates Texas.
Yeah,
we went there my freshman year and we beat them. They were ranked, and then I remember we went to my senior year. We went to Auburn and they were 2, and we beat them. So there's a lot of special memories. Unfortunately, I was part of the last group that beat Alabama around here too. So my last year we went to an SEC championship game, and then we're close to winning that game. So that was a fun year too.
Well, they just beat Tennessee at home for the first time forever. I was at that game when Joe Kynes was the interim. That's how old I am.
Yep.
Do you ever eat pineapple upside down cake?
No, I don't like pineapple.
Okay, very good. Could you win the Dr. Pepper challenge at halftime of a bowl game, snapping it while those little nerdy kids are throwing it?
Easily.
That's awesome.
Easily. I love it. Song you play best on the guitar?
Oh, so right now I'm working on The Weary Kind by Ryan Bingham. So that's one of my favorite ones right now. I'm looking up doing some Cole Wetzel. And now, because my son loves Post Malone, I'm learning a little bit of Post Malone and some Taylor Swift for my daughter.
Finally, when you and Aaron Rodgers were throwing water balloons, who were the targets?
Everybody. It doesn't matter who you were. Everybody's getting a balloon thrown at them if we could try and reach them. So it was a lot of fun, and I used to take a little dough urine and stick it in that water balloon a little too, and get an extra kick to it.
No way! Where was this? When were you doing this?
At the dorms.
It's St. Norbert.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to realize we're still just a bunch of kids. Everybody playing that you're just kids, and when I say I grew up in Wisconsin, you do, you leave college, you think you're a man, but you're not, and you get up there and you have to deal with a lot of different things, and you got to grow up, but. I think to this day, we still all like to play around and pull trick, prank each other and do things like that. So that's a lot of fun.
This is things that Arkansas and Wisconsin people know when you see a dough urine. The fact that you can market that as scent of dough, like it's a cologne that you can wash your clothes with, is amazing to me. Because
think about if you throw a water balloon, it just mixes real well and it gets all over their clothes and you can't get rid of it. So it's great.
Oh my goodness.
God, you're right.
Trev, I feel like this is a good place to take the off ramp and decide that we are done.
Actually, I was going to ask if you ever shot a giant buck. You brought up taxidermy earlier.
No, I haven't. No, I'm not. So my problem with deer hunting is I don't really want to get up and go sit in a stand. And I know you can go pay to go hunt on certain places, but I like duck hunting and some other things. I love going to shoot. That's one of the things I love doing is I love clay shooting, sport shooting. I love shooting my pistols. I just don't get out to hunt a whole lot.
So you've been in a duck blind.
I have, yeah. Stand out there, freezing, cold. It's a lot of fun.
I always tell people that's when Aaron said he was going in a darkness retreat, everybody in Wisconsin thought, oh, he's just going to go sit in a duck blind. They didn't realize he was literally going to go sit and hide himself in the dark for 5 days. Because people in Wisconsin do darkness retreats all the time. They're just sitting there waiting for.
It probably cost about the same when you talk about spending money on decoys and buying a lease and everything else. Probably about the same cost.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for helping the Packers win a Super Bowl for so many people's lifetime. Because you said it's such a hard thing to do, and I imagine as the year goes by, you appreciate exactly how hard that is more and more each time. And then appreciate the fact that, you're close enough that if I have to, I can keep an eye on my kids.
Yeah, anytime.
Fayetteville. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Brett.
We want you to do a whole lot more than just save money. We want your money to grow, just like your dreams. We want you to achieve financial well-being and the feelings that go along with that. Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing.
JA, those are my favorite ones. When you don't know the guy, I mean, we know the guy, but we don't know the guy. And to get to know the guy is really good. That was great.
Yeah. And it's a position that hopefully nobody ever knows, right? The only recognition you get is if you screw it up. And
That's
so,
fair.
the fact that he is perhaps his story not as well known to some others is great that we were able to have Brett on and hear what he had to say about the job and the Packers. And for you need to learn more about Arkansas. You just do.
Yeah. For me, he's the most well-known long snapper in my Packer fandom time. Maybe there's one that sticks out to you, but that was always a position we never needed to worry about, right? I mean, right. Brett had it. Brett Goode's the long snapper.
The fact that I could not name another one tells you all about it. No idea. Fair. The guy, the guy now, I think is number 42.
I have no idea what his name is.
Which is John Brockington. So I don't know how he got that number, but he's 42.
What number is Narvison?
44.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's still on the club when this is airing, run him out. I want him all out. I literally texted Domofsky during the game against when they were playing the Cardinals, and I texted him and I said, why don't we just go for it every time on 4th down and commit to the 2-point conversion? Problem solved. Open up an extra roster spot for somebody who can play. That's just my thought.
Got it. Good luck beating the John Wisconsin from last episode. Best one ever. I haven't gotten those Zuba pants yet, but greatest one ever. Really appreciated the kind words with the check. They
have not been mailed yet. I've got a lot of other stuff going on, so I haven't gotten them in the mail.
No, you're got a few things.
So the John Wisconsin is going to hit right. This is tailor-made for this episode.
All right.
Because at Lombardi Junior High School in 9th grade freshman football, you know who long snapped?
No way. That's great.
At least on the B team. It wasn't always good to get in the regular ones, but they had, what do we have? 6 games and there were 4 other ones. I tried because not many kids could spiral it back there. And my brother, Bill, who was just an unbelievable athlete, my older brother, Bill, and he's a unique athlete. Like he shot put and ran the hurdles. He played defensive line and he kicked off. Like he was just a big guy that was really, he could have owned the world if he'd have had better coaching and, somebody would know. Anyway, so he taught me I could do that. I could get it 12, 14 yards back in a spiral. So they okay, here you go when they do a tryouts. And they realized that I was just too small. Dude, I was like 5'2", if that, and 112 pounds. But when they had the second games, right, when the We all played on whatever it was Thursday, and then we had to play our scrub games. So I would do that, but I was so little, and you could maul people, that the guards next to me would take their legs and put them inside of mine so that they just didn't go whoop and push me over each time, because that's what they used to do. So I get in there, I get down, I'd get the ball and get ready. And literally the guards would each take their legs and put them inside behind mine to kind of brace me so that some guy didn't hit me and knock me 12 or 14 yards back into the punter, which is what would have happened as little as I was. So when he talked about the mauling and the guys have it easy today, I know, having done that at Lombardi Junior High School, number 84 in your program. Yeah, we were great. We looked a little like the Bills, blue pants and a white jersey with red piping. Now I sound like Kevin Harlan, and a blue helmet. And some of them had a logo on, some didn't, because it was freshman football. But that was the only year I played. And then then I went to the safety of the press box to be the PA announcer over at Del Marcel Stadium for the rest of them. But
my job.
I'm just saying, he and I were kind of Brett and I, we're kind of good. We're simpatico. That's all I'm saying.
Were you in 9th grade in junior high? Am I missing something?
Yeah. So Lombardi is now a middle school, but 7, 8, 9 was at Lombardi. 10, 11, 12 were over at Southwest.
Got it.
And that was the way a lot of places, like when you played Franklin, right? Franklin, Washington. What were the other junior highs? Anyway, 7, 8, 9, there were enough students that was always, still counted, I guess, as, your high school transcripts and stuff. But 7, 8, 9 was always at the junior high. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Now I know.
There you go.
And now we know what it's like to be a long snapper in junior high and the NFL, and probably a little bit in between. Our thanks to Brett Goode for jumping on the Inside Wisconsin show. For John, I'm Trevor. I feel like we're gonna talk about a kicker for a while. Fair? Let's not talk the kicking anymore on the Inside Wisconsin show.
I don't know. I just know that they should all be fired.
As you were. We'll see you. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Legit Pizza, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Shut up and sit down.